Citizen of Azeroth, behold. Our world groans in agony.
At midnight Pacific Time, December 7th, 2010, World of Warcraft Cataclysm officially launched. Those who upgraded their accounts online or hurried back from their late-night launch events were logged onto their servers early in anticipation of the switch flip. If their experiences were anything like ours, they were most likely greeted by hundreds of players camped atop their mammoth land mounts on the riding trainers and Cataclysm quest givers. Evidently, human decency does not allow for certain things, like the purchase of Azeroth flight training on Cataclysm launch day. We thank our lucky stars for the Interact with Target keybind function. Predictably, the wee hours of December 7th were tough for Cataclysm, given the staggering multitudes of concurrent players hanging around the starting zones. On our server, Tichondrius, the Vajir level 80 starting zone was buckling under the pressure. Quest objects took upwards of 20 seconds to register clicks. Quest mobs couldn't respawn fast enough to keep up with demand, even with their accelerated launch day rates. Players who persevered reported that things got better past 2 a.m. Pacific, most likely due to frustrated and bleary-eyed questers calling it a night. Currently, the Cataclysm experience is holding up admirably. The starting zones, including those for the new races, are still bustling with heavy activity, though you're now able to fulfill quest objectives with relative ease. On PvP servers, the fragile truce between Alliance and Horde players that always manages to emerge following the launch of an expansion seems to be intact. In our experience, ganking is isolated and seldom leads to protracted turf battles. We've only encountered one bug so far in our trek from levels 80 to 82, and that was apparently resolved by a server reset early this morning. We were able to complete the quest in question without incident earlier today. As far as disconnects go, we haven't encountered any since the early hours of launch night. Crotchety old Tichondrius appears to be holding up decently in this regard. Where old Tyke is definitely letting us down is in regards to login queues during peak hours. Around 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the 7th, we logged in at the back of a 1,100 plus queue, which took us upwards of an hour to work through. Players on other high-population servers are reporting similar queues during peak hours. Blizzard has stated that player capacity on high-population servers has been up to compensate, but just like widening highways to alleviate gridlock, the efforts have had little effect. Realms with smaller populations aren't experiencing these sorts of queues, so if you're interested in getting into Cataclysm, it might be worth considering one of these quaint and often altogether friendlier realms. Going off of precedent, things will eventually settle on the high-pop servers, but it stinks nonetheless to be excited to log in on launch week and see an absurd queue staring back at you. In most every other regard, Cataclysm is exceedingly playable. If you're still on the fence, don't hesitate. We just advise you to avoid high-population servers if you aren't already committed to one. If you are, and can bear the thought of falling behind in the early leveling curve, then perhaps a week or so hiatus from WoW will yield better waters.
We must send word to the others! Let us hurry!